I don't know. Okay. So what we did last week, which I thought was really cool, I actually learned this from my upline mentor, Kevin and Milan Jensen, is to spend a few minutes to open up the floor to have people share something good that happened to them either this week, this month, this year, or maybe a challenge that you're struggling with. And it doesn't have to be like business related or fitness related. It can just be whatever. Just an opportunity for everyone to kind of get to know each other and share something good or something that you're struggling with. Oh, and by the way, last week, Jay, I text Christine and her cat is doing great. So you know how her cat was like not able to move the hind legs, the steroids worked, so her cat is fine and recovered, so yay, no surgery.
I'll share.
Okay.
Was going to the bathroom. So I'm trying to get better with Instagram. It's been a process because, you know, I don't like change and it always takes me a while. But I've gotten consistent with stories. I've actually had a few people reach out and they've become, you know, new challengers with me. So I'm taking it up a notch and I'm forcing myself to now do polls. And like you shared, reach out to people that are just doing my polls right now. So that's kind of like my next baby step is trying to do different polls. I'm noticing if I'm like, are you in? Are you out? Are you in? Is it later that you want to join? Those polls don't do as well as like polls that are getting more feedback are just random questions. Like, you know, are you someone that thinks that I can do anything? Or are you someone that thinks I can't? Or yesterday I asked, I shared about doing a new workout that hasn't even debuted yet. And I was like, you know, would that be something that excited you, getting to do, you know, a new workout and calling that work? Or would you rather watch? And I had more people answer about that. So I'm making it a point to reach out to those people daily, which I wasn't doing up until yesterday.
Yay. I do get more people voting on my polls that are random too. Like I asked like the other day, like dog toys, like does your dog put your dog toys like all over the floor? And you know, I mean, one thing I didn't know is that they archive it. I was like screenshotting, making sure that I screenshot all the people that responded so that I could like write to them within the next like 24 to 48 hours. But Stephanie pointed out to me that all your stories are archived. If you go up to the left upper corner of your page, your Instagram page, there's a little like circle thing. If you click on that, all your stories are archived. So you can see like your previous polls and who voted on your polls. So you can always reach out to those people, which I did not know. So thank you, Stephanie. And good job on the polls. I mean, you have a business where you have so many people reaching out to you on Facebook as it is. Like you gotta be really protective with your time and your energy of what you're doing because you already have so many people already ready to get started with you. I don't have that. You know, I don't have people reaching out to me all the time. I have to do a lot of, you know, still reaching out and making connections myself at this point. So, I mean, the goal is obviously to have a business like yours where you have people reaching out to you every day. You know, that's the goal.
But it's still work. I mean, like I do still have to reach out. Otherwise, like,
okay,
can't bank on that. You know, it's like I do get people trickling in, but they're not always serious people. You know, I have a lot of people that just want something for free, or a lot of people that like, I literally have someone that keeps asking for a link so that she can ask me questions. And like, she's done this to me like 3 or 4 times. And I finally called her out because you do have people that just, you know, want something for free. So I still have to do the same work that everybody else does. That's why I started reaching out on Instagram. It's like, if you're not growing, you're gonna plateau.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I just like, I asked the coach that I follow, Ash Valdesian, which is one of Patrick's coaches. And I follow her because she's younger, she's single, she has a couple dogs, she doesn't have any kids. I relate more to her than other coaches. And she's built a really nice, solid, it took like 4 years for her to hit elite, but then she had a coach hit elite in 1 year. Like one of her personally sponsored coaches hit elite with her like this year. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they're both like teachers. So of course, you know, teachers do really well in the business because that's what it is, teaching. And I asked her if she reaches out and does a lot of inviting. And she said at this point, not really, but she did in the beginning. But now she still does, but not like she was when she started. So it really inviting just means inviting people to have a conversation with you, because not everybody that you invite into a conversation is going to be your avatar. Like I have a couple conversations going right now where I can already tell I'm like, they don't really speak English that well, like they're from like another country, and I don't see myself really, that's not my avatar. It's going to be difficult for us to have a good connection. So then it's easy for me to just like, okay, let's take this conversation to, ending. Like, let's end the conversation, because I know it's not going to really go any further. I mean, I would always answer their questions if they had questions for me, but I'm not going to keep like asking them to get to know them more when I already realize like they're not my avatar. Or men, I have a lot of men that reach out to me and want to be in my challenge groups, and I just tell them, like, I actually have been saying I have a male coach, Jay. I keep saying I have a man on my team. Like, if you want me to refer you to the male coach that I have as my business partner, I can. I'm like, but I don't really think that we're going to be a good fit. And they keep saying, no, I want a woman. I want you, or blah, blah, blah. Because they just really, they want attention. That's all from a woman. That's what I think. It's not, they don't really want to do it. They just want attention from me. So anyway, the polls are a great way to invite someone into a conversation that's not like, you don't have to be annoying and like scroll on their page and find a commonality and be like, okay, what should I reach out to them about? Have to think of anything. It's just like, they answered your poll, reach out to them and say, thank you. Always thank you for the support, watching my stories, answering my poll, and then, whatever question you want to ask them to start the conversation. And obviously if it's someone that like is like a one-word answer, then, you already know that they're not really interested in having a conversation with you. It's the people that you're really connecting with and the conversation's like flowing naturally and easily. Those are the people that you want to keep, talking with. Is Christine one of your coaches? Hi, Christine. Okay. All right. So we're still doing, sorry, I totally take over sometimes. If anyone wants to share something good that happened to them this week or a challenge that they're facing, we'd love to hear from you.
Matilda, why don't you speak up? What you doing over there? I'm going to call you out.
It's working, it looks like.
I am at work.
Oh, okay. Yay.
So you can't.
I'm at work, but I'm listening.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Go back to work. She's a nurse too.
I'm gonna text Jonna too. I don't know if she forgot. Okay, so Georgia, Jay, Christine, Carrie, somebody else want to share? If not, we can just jump into,
I'll share. This is something actually not, I guess, Beachbody related. It's actually with my 9-to-5 job. For those that don't know, I actually work for the federal government, and we've been on shutdown for over a month now, but I guess they finally actually agreed to let us go back to work on Monday.
Yay!
So yeah, I haven't been paid in like over a month at this point, and it's kind of weird that the timing of this, I'm kind of getting back into coaching, for those that don't know, also, I've kind of been a coach for really like 4 or 5 years, but never really wasn't too active in the business, a little bit in the beginning, but never really did much with it. And so I would basically consider myself a discount coach. I love the programs, love Shakeology, and had some good success this past year. And I think I'm ready to jump back in. So anyway, but again, the good news is I get to start my job on Monday for at least 3 weeks, because it's only a temporary approval for us to go back to work. So, but I'll get paid, so that'll be nice, I guess. And again, like I said, it's kind of weird the timing of this, that I've been off for a month, and I don't dislike my job. It's pretty easy for me, but I'm not like passionate about it really. I mean, I'm a numbers guy, but I'd rather do other things, so that's something good though that's happened to me this week.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. So is that for everyone? Everyone gets to go back to work?
Yeah. Yep. All like 800,000 federal workers that have been furloughed is what they call it. So yeah, it's good for everybody. Like, yeah. Luckily I'm not somebody that lives paycheck to paycheck, so I'm fortunate, but some people, like, I guarantee, are like really struggling. So it's good for them too.
Yeah, I'm floored by this whole thing. Like, I can't believe it, but that's
yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Bueller. All right. So then we won't, okay. I don't want to force people to share if they don't want to. So, okay. So I didn't really plan anything particularly for this call, but I did want to say that I'm really loving, there's 2 books that if you're not doing personal development right now, or you don't know what to do for personal development, at the end of last year, finished a book called The Desire Map. And it's by a female author, and it's a book and it's a workbook. And in the workbook, you basically do like activities, like you're writing and you're kind of just dumping like what's in your brain, what's in your heart onto paper. And then at the end of the process, you come up with 4 or 3 to 5 words that are your words for life, how you want to feel with everything, with your relationships, with your job, with whatever it is. And I've had this book for I think like 2 years, and I'm a collector of personal development books because I think I overdo everything to the point where I have to like stop everything, and then I'm finally doing it consistently, not overdoing anything right now. So I had to learn myself. I had to get to know myself really well, and now I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to focus on one book. I'm not going to just consume it so quickly and get to the next book. Like I'm actually going to focus, and I'm going to get whatever I need to get out of that book. So I actually took a lot of time at the end of the year to do that process. Here's why I'm sharing that. I think that process really helped me get clear on the person that I want to attract, which is very important, obviously, for this business, is your avatar, for client and coach. Because I know from personal experience that if you throw a wide net and you're just fishing and you bring a lot of people on, but they're nothing like you, you're not going to be having as much fun. You're not going to be able to mentor them, and your business is not going to grow as much. And just for me, it really right now, what I really want to do is connect with people that are like me. Like that's really important to me. I want to be having fun, and I want to be enjoying what I'm doing. Obviously, I want my business to grow and I want to make money, but really the meaningfulness of it is more important to me now than anything else. Whereas before, it could have been finances before that. Well, the process of that desire map really, really helped me get clear on who I want to be, how I want to feel, what I want to attract, and how I want to keep, my business, how I want to create in my business moving forward. I highly recommend it for people that are struggling with knowing how to attract their avatar or who their avatar is, or, struggling in your business, struggling in your life. It really, really helped me a lot. And then people won't continue to push with something they're not enjoying, definitely. And then, yes, that's why I wasn't enjoying it, which is why I took a huge step back for 2 years. And now I'm back, and I'm really liking everything that I'm doing. I'm liking all the people I'm talking to. I'm liking my process of my business. I'm enjoying these calls. Everything's good. And then secondly, what I've been doing is after that, the desire map, I started this book called High Performance Habits, and it's by Brendon Burchard, who spoke at Summit like 2 years ago, I think. So I've also had this book for 2 years. And what I like about this book is it's the same type of thing. It's all about how you want to feel. It's not just succeeding and it's not like making yourself empty to succeed, which is what I was doing. I was just dumping all of my energy into all the people that I was bringing on, and I didn't feel like I had anything left for me at the end of the day. And how can I really succeed at a business where I'm teaching people how to be healthy if I'm not taking care of myself first? So I like this book because the Brendon Burchard takes it a little bit like one step further, and it talks about the habits that you need to start doing in order to create these feelings. So it's like, okay, the desire map is the why, the why. Like, I want to feel this way. That's why I'm doing it. And the high performance habits, I feel like, is the how. This is how I'm going to do it. So I really like the process that I've gone through, and I'm taking my time and I'm taking notes. And as I go through the high performance habits, which I'm going to read it again, I just ordered the physical book, I will teach what I'm learning, but I don't want to go into anything right now because I'm not that familiar with it. And I don't want to teach a topic that I'm not like an expert on. Not that you ever really become an expert, but I want to know more about it before I start teaching it. So if you're not doing any PD and you're struggling with your avatar, you're struggling with your life or whatever it is, or you're feeling run down, you're feeling low energy, it's an awesome book, The Desire Map. And then the habits is after. And then going into what Jay wanted to talk to on this call, Jay asked me about inviting. The reason I shared all that is because when you're going into the inviting process, understand why you're actually inviting these people to join you. What is the meaning behind what you're doing? So it's not just like, okay, I'm inviting because I have to hit my numbers and check them off on a box, or I'm inviting because I want to grow my business so I can make money so I can X, Y, Z. It's, when you're talking to someone, whether it's a personal friend or someone you know, or it's a cold lead on social media, personally, if I'm talking to someone who's a cold lead on social media, I'm going on their page and I'm looking at what they're about. And I'm like, okay, I try to find a picture of what do they look like? Or do they look like they're out of shape? Do they look like they're overweight? What do they look like they need from me? What problem do I think I can solve for them? Or is it something like, they're struggling financially and maybe the business opportunity is the problem that I can solve. So I check out, even if it's a cold lead, I learn as much as I can. I scroll on their Instagram, I check out their page, I see who they are, because I want to know, why am I connecting with this person? Before I start that conversation, I'm not just like doing it because I want to have a number. I'm like, okay, I'm connecting with this person because here's what I think they might need from me. And it's not about what can they do for me. It's about what can I do for them? How can I serve them? And also, you want the relationship to serve you as well. You're not just taking anyone just so that you can hit your numbers. You're taking people that you want to actually have a connection with. So my point is that before you even start having the conversation, think about, why am I talking to this person? Like, what do I see their need being, and how am I going to be able to fill it? And that's probably going to help you know what to say to connect with them. So that's first and foremost, figure out why you're talking to them. And then secondly, as far as the invitation process, what I'm going to share with you, especially if you're a newer coach, because I think mostly we have to go with the newer coaches, since, Jay, you're starting over. I don't know where you're at, Georgia, in your business. And I don't know Carrie, Christine, and Matilda. I know Stephanie, has been a coach for a while and we're more seasoned. But the invitation is obviously, it's always going to change over time. And it's going to be different for each person. But for newer coaches, where you got to start is the people that you already know. So I know that a lot of people jump into coaching and they see like, oh, Stephanie's getting, all these people reaching out to her from social media. And they're like, okay, I need to model her. I need to do what she's doing. I need to be Stephanie because that's how I'm going to succeed. No, you need to write your list of who are the people in your life right now? Who are your friends? Who are your family? Who are, the people that you have connections with, your doctor, there's actually like a list. I think there's like a list that Beachbody has. I forget what it's called. Where they try to get you, it's like they inspire you to think of the people that you know in your life. Like, who do you talk to at the grocery store? Who's in your kids' teachers? Like, the people that are in your life right now, those are the people that you can serve right now. So I think a lot of new coaches jump right to, how do I get really good at social media? That's great, and you can do that, and that will come with time, but start with memory jogger. That's what it is. Thanks, Jay. There's a memory jogger, and it helps you to think of who are the people that you already know. So grab that memory jogger. You can actually type in on Google, Beachbody memory jogger, and it will pop up as a PDF, I'm pretty sure. And then just start writing your list of people. So you actually have to have a list that you're working from to start inviting, right? That's what, Jay and I talked about. I'm like, well, the first thing is, who are the people that you know? And maybe you've already invited some people and you did it in a way that didn't feel good and you want to go back to those people. Just be honest. Be honest and be vulnerable. Say, hey, I remember we talked about this, about you joining me at some point, and I feel like I was pretty aggressive with you, and I don't think I really knew what I was doing, and I didn't do it in the right way, but I really do want to help people. So I really would like, to have a conversation about what I'm doing and see if there's any way I can serve you. Would you be open to that? The more authentic you are, like, what do you want to say? Don't think of something, I need to say X, Y, Z in order to get them. No, what do you want to say to them? Like, what do you feel is natural to you? It needs to be conversational. It needs to be natural. It needs to flow. So start with your friends, get your list ready, and then how do you want to have that conversation with them? Don't just like come up with like a message that you're copying. For me, it doesn't work. Copying and pasting a message to people, it doesn't feel good to me. That doesn't feel authentic to me. And if I don't feel authentic, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, if that's what you do and it works for you and it feels good for you, do what feels good for you. To me, it doesn't feel good. I need to personalize the message. I need to send something, and I'm using tons of voice texting or voice messages on Instagram or on Facebook, because when people get to actually hear your voice, and if they respond to me and I get to hear their voice, especially if it's a cold lead, hearing their voice even shows me even more if I feel like I'm connecting with this person. Because some people, I listen to their voice and I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it. Or some people I'm like, oh my gosh, she sounds like me. Like, she sounds like we could be friends. Cool. Like this, I'm going to keep going with this conversation. So what was my point of that? just basically let it be natural, come up with what you want to say to this person, what feels natural to you. Don't overthink it. Don't try to make it some certain way that it needs to be because that's what you learned is going to make you succeed. Do what feels good for you and what feels natural for you.
I just share something real quick.
Yeah.
Something that has worked for me. I totally agree with everything. And so like my scripts are like something that has come from like me. Like I'm literally responding to someone who's like, hey, like tell me more. And I'm like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Like, well, what kind of goals are you working on right now? Like what has you asking? Like whatever I said from like the heart, I make that a script and then I just have it saved. So like it's just there, it's backup, but it's my words, not somebody else's, and I can always alter it. So that's something that's worked for me.
And I actually have those too. Like if someone reaches out to me, I do have a script that's mine that I use as well. I'm more so saying if you're going to start inviting people, if you're like a new coach and you're like, how do I invite? What am I going to do? Just start inviting them in a natural way. And you'll probably work that script out after you've invited 20 to 30 people. And then you'll be like, okay, this is what feels good for me. This is what I'm going to use in general, and you can even have an in general, like, you could create on the iPhone, there's a thing called voice memos, which I've been doing with coaches, which feels good for me, is you have brand new coaches and they ask a lot of the same questions. So now I have a new coach that I'm supporting and I'm recording my answers on voice memo. And I won't feel bad if I take that voice memo and if I have another new coach that asks me the same question, I'll just send it to them in a text message because then I don't have to record it again. I already recorded it. I already took 4 or 5 minutes or 2 or whatever to get the information out. And now I can just send it to them. But I'm more so saying, like, if you're sitting down and you're like, where do I start? I want to start inviting people. I don't know how to do this, which is pretty much like what Jay was saying. How do you start? It has to be natural. It has to be organic. It has to feel good. And then you're going to start to learn who you are and how you want to show up and how you want to talk to people based on what you do. Like, it's going to show you. So now let's talk about good ways that have worked for you to invite. Does anyone that's a newer coach or an older coach or a seasoned whatever want to share a way that's really worked well for you? Because I don't want to be the only one talking here. I want it to be more like an interactive call. So
what works for me best is like starting a new program and inviting to what I'm doing and just sharing. And regardless if somebody is a perfect fit for that program, it still gets a conversation going. And, like maybe I'm doing 21 Day Extreme. That's going to be my next program. And so I invite people to that. But somebody's like, yeah, I'm super interested, but I have something where I can't do a lot of jumps. Okay, well, they can either take it out, but I might talk to them about something different, but it's still got a conversation going. So anytime I do something new, I blast and I'm inviting and I'm showing them like a week before, like moves from my new program. And then I just continuously invite the whole time. Like, honestly, I invite every day. But also not just inviting to a program, inviting to a conversation. So maybe I talk about a food haul, like whatever John bought, because I don't grocery shop. And so I'm talking about the food haul. And then at the end of the time, or at the end of the video, I'm like, hey guys, like, if you're trying to get started on your goals and you don't even know where to start, reach out. Let's get a conversation going. So I'm constantly asking for people to reach out for all sorts of things, not just a group, not just one thing, but like all things, questions. Do you want to learn more about this? Are you wanting to get started? Do you have questions about this? Reach out. I actually recently posted a recipe where I'd always posted the ingredients or whatever, the recipe with it. I posted a picture. This time I didn't because I'm like, God, I post this recipe so many times. I had so many new conversations from that because everybody wanted the recipe. So that's a really good one too, is to post something, share why it's good. Like, oh my gosh, do you love sweets in the morning? Like, this is such a perfect sweet treat that fits into a meal plan. Show the picture. Of course, people are going to be like, tell me more. And then they reach out. So that's always a good way too.
Exactly. That's a good point, is a lot of people are going to connect with you on things that you post that are non-fitness and health related as well. Like, you're a personal trainer, so you sharing recipes and workouts and things like that will get a lot of conversations. But for people that isn't their, what they do for a living or their passion, which it's just you know, maybe their passion is building a business, which was for me. So a lot of people are going to connect with you about other things that you post on your page, not about health and fitness. So it doesn't have to be about that. It could be about, I'm trying to think of something. You know, it can be about your kids, because obviously moms connect a lot with, like, if you're sharing information about that and like asking questions and, you know, sharing tips. Like you could do it with a personal development book. I could like not name the book, and I could say, I'm going through this PD book and here's what I'm learning, and then not name the book. And then people are going to reach out and say, what's the name of that book? You know, and then I have a conversation going about personal development, which is my passion. So that's a great point, is that people will also message you about other things besides recipes. And so it's just your own creativity is the only thing that limits you from connecting with people. And then how would you take, like, because I struggle with this actually myself. Like I have conversations going, right? And I'm like messaging them back and forth. And then how do I like wrap it around to, okay, we've talked about something random. Like, how do I now invite them?
Well, I'll talk a couple different ways, because obviously I have like a page, you know, if you have like a fitness page, or even on Instagram, you have a business page and you create that profile, that's an easy transition because somebody's coming to my page. So I don't have to dance around and be like, hey, so you interested in goals? So literally if I'm talking about my kids and they reach out about homework or something, I can be like, hey, thanks for following, you know, thanks for sharing how you guys deal with homework after school. So I saw that you're new to my page, you know, are you also working on goals of your own? But for people that maybe have, you know, are just working off their personal page to begin with, I actually just spoke with someone recently who is helping out her mom. You know, a lot of people, we're getting to the age as we get older, we're helping out our parents or just different things. And she was talking about that, and people were reaching out to her about, you know, taking care of their parents. An easy transition is, that's awesome. Like, that's so cool that you're, you know, helping out with your parents. You know, what do you do for yourself? You know, I know it's a lot of stress to, you know, be taking care of my mom. And, you know, so for me, I need that daily me time. What is something that you're doing for yourself? And then kind of wrap it back around. Or, you know, with kids, you know, kids are awesome, but man, they can really suck you dry of your alone time. You know, is there anything that you do for yourself? How do you, you know, fulfill yourself each day after, you know, taking care of your family? I mean, there's ways to kind of like squeeze it in and ask questions that will get you in that direction. But we are here for a business. So, you know, it's okay to not dance around. I mean, people see our pages, they see what we're posting. If they're following us, it's probably because they are interested, but they're not necessarily going to be like, I hate my body, can you please talk to me about it? And I think a lot of people wait for that, and it's not going to happen. It's up to us to reach out and ask.
And I think it's important to like try to, you know, figure out a way to get the conversation to that, to see if they have any needs that you can fill, like if you have a solution for a problem for them. Because I think people get turned off, and I am for sure. Like if someone reaches out to you on social media and then they start a conversation with you and they pretend like they want to get to know you, and then all of a sudden you get an invite for like, you know, some other product or something, right? So, you know, you want to make sure that you have made that connection, you've established that connection first, and then the invite just doesn't come out of like left field. It's just like random. So you have to intuitively feel when it's time to actually send the invite. So thank you for sharing that. That's good. Like coming up with something like, how do you take care of yourself? You know, you're taking care of all these other people. I never thought of that. So I was going to go over like how I'm doing my follow-ups and stuff like that, which is there any questions on the inviting process? Is there something specifically you want to go over? Do you think that was helpful, you guys?
I think it was helpful. Yeah.
Wait. I can
to you know, start that like this coming week. Like I told you, Marissa, I've just kind of wanted to be a little bit consistent with my posting on social media for the last couple of weeks, because it's like I did start back in July, obviously, with, you know, getting back in groups and stuff like that, but I wasn't really consistently posting. So like I said, I've been doing that last couple of weeks, and gonna start reaching out more this coming week. I guess my thing, or my question, or like what I struggle with sometimes is what to post, you know, and I been following some of the top coaches, you know, like that Jamie Fitzpatrick, that you recommended, who's like the top male coach, Canadian coach or whatever. And I actually scrolled all the way back through his Instagram to when he first started it, because I just wanted to see what he posted when he first started.
Right.
You know? And compared to like what he posts now, it's like you'll change, kind of, I feel like, or you can change. Because when he first started, his posts were like all fitness. Like it was like 90% fitness, just how he's excited about like these programs he's doing and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, other people say don't post like all fitness, but that's what he did. And it worked for him. I mean, he's like super successful, but now he doesn't like post all fitness. He does some, you know, and he shares like his workout on Insta stories and stuff like that. Like, so for me, like I'm like sharing fitness, you know, at least once a day. And then I'm not over posting, you know, because that's just not who I am. I'm not going to post 3 to 5 times a day, you know, but I'm using Insta stories actually like probably 4 or 5 times a day and really liking that. So I just have to like kind of figure out, like, really just get over my fear of like people saying no, you know. That's my biggest like thing at this point. So yeah, that's my biggest hurdle. So but yeah, this call has been helpful as far as like just like you said, like being natural. Like how would you just talk to these people, especially warm market? Cold market, like, you know, it's different, but I don't really have to worry about that just yet because I haven't even gone through my warm market. So
and I think that's the same thing as you're asking like what to post. It's the same thing with what to post. It has to be natural. Like it has to just be something that is like it's flowing out of you. Like don't, you know, analysis paralysis is so painful. If you're just like, I don't know what to post, like I don't know what to say, I have to do it. The more you're trying to do it right is the more you're going to do it wrong. Just, it has to be you. Just be authentic. Share. If he did a bunch of fitness posts, it's probably because he didn't know what to do either. So he just posted a bunch of fitness posts, you know. And I'm not saying that that's going to work for you or it isn't going to work for you. You just need to be natural. You need to share naturally and, you know, and create value, make people laugh, educate people. You know, it has to be the things that you're creating value in some way in your posts. If this turns off, we can hop back on because it's only a 45-minute thing. So it's going to probably shut down in like 2 minutes. But
can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I come from such a diverse range of women. I'm 52, so the church I attend has women from my age to a lot younger to a lot older. The younger women at my church, I'm just going to flat out say it, are morbidly obese and just like don't seem to care. How can I approach them without making them feel like, gee, you're fat, why don't you want to get skinny? How do I do that? I mean, it's just like they have no sense of, and I'm assuming this, but they just feel comfortable in doing what they're doing.
My suggestion would be, you know, say like, you know, I've started something new and I'm looking for women who might be interested, you know, in a test group, or, you know, I'm starting a new, like to be mindset is where I would think these people would be probably perfect. You know, I'm trying something new. I have a new nutrition program that I have that I want to find people that are interested in, maybe not necessarily starting off with like fitness and all things, but want to start off small. You know, would you be interested in sharing like, I have a new group and I'm looking for people interested, and ask. My sister-in-law is really obese, and she actually said one time, now she never like did anything, but she did say like, nobody ever asked me, no, I don't want to be this big, but nobody ever asked. And now she didn't ever continue with anything because she doesn't truly want it for herself, but she did have those thoughts. Like those people have thoughts, like they're not necessarily happy even though they've given up. And maybe sharing on your page about, you know, the fact that you got to start somewhere. And sometimes it's overwhelming to do all things. I'm running a group where we're just going to focus on nutrition. And then, you know, you can be like, hey, I don't know if you follow me, but, you know, just asking people, but sharing you're trying something new, looking for people.
Okay.
That's a great way to do it. So you're making it about you and not them, you know?
Okay.
I think it's gonna end on us. So since we're like right here, maybe we should just call it like, okay, we're good. And then if you guys have more questions, you can just post in the team page and we can answer them. We can hop in and answer them. Thanks guys for hopping on, and I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, okay? See ya.